Good morning, everybody. All right. Thank you for everybody joining this morning. Hope everyone enjoyed the opening keynote. We're ready for the next session of Developers Live. Good morning, everybody. Oops. All right. My name is Chris Hedge. I'm the Director of Product Management for Magento Commerce, and I am excited to share with you all this session of Magento product previews. This is going to be a little bit more of a hands-on session where various members of the product team are going to walk through some of the live things that we're working on, and we'll be bringing to you in the near future in terms of GA software capabilities. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of an overview. Probably many of you who've seen a product roadmap presentation from the Magento Commerce team, so I'll just be brief. We're working towards a vision where in a future where customer experience is paramount and all commerce is digital commerce, Adobe enables the world's best brands to deliver the world's best commerce experiences. This is our vision, and throughout the past few years, we've been driven by a fundamental idea that people buy experiences and not products. Across every industry, whether it's B2C, B2B, or hybrid, people aren't just buying products, they're buying experiences, and commerce is an integral part of the customer experience. Customers, the consumers, as well as business buyers, expect the next generation of commerce to be completely embedded into the overall commerce experience, moving beyond the web shopping cart to include mobile, social, web, in-product, and in-store. This is the idea of experience-driven commerce. We have 5 product pillars that our roadmap revolves around. You can see here: superior shopping experiences, intelligent commerce, business agility, extensible and integrated, and frictionless platform and infrastructure. If you've seen a Magento roadmap presentation, you'll know we used to have 4 of these. The last one was open and scalable. We actually, in this year, have split that into extensible and integrated and frictionless platform and infrastructure, acknowledging that a lot of what we're focusing on right now is developing that foundational underpinning for scale, for performance, reliability, and lower total cost of ownership. Now, again, there's a lot of exciting things going on in the roadmap in the coming year or so. I'm not going to touch on all of these because I brought with me some of the experts today. But there are a few things we're really excited about coming up, including an improved reference implementation for Magento PWA, as well as Magento plus AEM sites, including coverage for B2B. Improved content authoring between Magento and AEM sites, including the ability for marketers to create structured and unstructured content within AEM and seamlessly associate those with the Magento product catalog. Great performance improvements like B2B price book scaling and effective SKU scaling, which is particularly important for global and multi-site, multi-brand merchants. And then some fantastic things, as always, going on within the cloud space for TCO and reliability, including rapid rollbacks and improved PWA and headless support. Of course, nobody really wants to look at dry roadmap screens. So like I said, I've got some of the experts from my product team here to join me today to talk about these in a little bit more depth. You'll be meeting with Nishant Kapoor, talking about GraphQL Storefront API. Ryan Manor will talk about intelligent search. Sandra Gonzalez will talk about total cost of ownership. Misha Kotov will talk about visual recommendations. And lastly, one of our awesome solution consultant friends, David Uselton, will be talking about AEM assets integration. So with that, I'll stop now and hand off to Nishant to talk about GraphQL and Storefront API.
All right. So I today will spend some time talking about GraphQL and Storefront API and all the good work that we have been doing for the last 18 months. So let's start with GraphQL. Over the last 12 to 18 months, we have made tremendous progress towards our GraphQL coverage. And I'm happy to share that from a business to customer coverage standpoint, we are almost at the end of the coverage. And we are looking to finish business to customer coverage by end of the year. And in addition, we are actually moving full steam ahead, adding B2B coverage to GraphQL. And we are looking to finish the B2B GraphQL coverage in the first half of 2021. And this Magento community has been a great support, a great help in actually expediting the GraphQL coverage work. I would like to give a special shout out to two of our friends, Atwix and Silker. So if you are on the call, you are listening, just know that we appreciate all the work that you have done and GraphQL coverage work. If you would like to get involved and see where we are in GraphQL coverage, the link to the backlog is at the bottom. Just take a look at the coverage. You can review schema, provide us feedback, play with the GraphQL API, and we are looking forward to your feedback and continued contribution. On this slide, you can see the details of the roadmap. Everything that is under now and second half of 2020 is pretty much done, and we are working towards the last column, H121. So this is where our friends from Atwix and Zilker are helping us expedite this roadmap. And once again, if you would like to join us and help us with this roadmap, I will share the contact details. You can go to the GitHub backlog board and take a look at what interests you. And if you would like to contribute, just pick a ticket and start working on it. All right, so next one is the storefront API and GraphQL server. So this is the evolution of Magento architecture, where we have begun our move to a microservices architecture. And the piece of Magento that we are starting with is the storefront feature set. And the goal here is to take the Magento monolith and break it down into microservices that will be independently releasable, scalable. And these services will have gRPC APIs, which will be tremendously performant in both reads and writes. And the three services that we are currently focused on are catalog storefront, search storefront, as well as pricing storefront. And in addition, we have another initiative of decoupling the GraphQL layer from the monolith into a separate application that will be written in Node, JavaScript. And that will serve as the single point of entry into all Magento services. So whether they are monolith services or our storefront microservices or SaaS services that we are building, or anything custom that you have it on the side, or third-party service. So we are working towards an early access program in 2021. I have the link to the backlog. It's invite only. Please feel free to reach out to us if you would like to get involved in this initiative. We hold a monthly hangout specifically on this initiative. It happens first week of every month. So look for an announcement in the Magento community Slack. So here, once again, my name is Nishant Kapoor, and I am leading product management for GraphQL, microservices, architecture, and our extensibility. This is my contact details. If you would like to get involved in any of these initiatives, please reach out to me. Just tweet at me or send me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you. So now I will hand it over to Ryan Manor, who will provide an update for intelligent search. Ryan, over to you.
Hey, everybody. Ryan Manor. Thanks, Nishant. So I am here today to give a quick demo of advanced site search. Let me share my screen real quick. There we go. So as you can see, I've got my Luma storefront opened up. But if we go and start to type in a search, for instance, shorts, we see that we're using Magento's new search product. So results were loaded in as I typed, with each new character refreshing the results set. And there's a couple other things going on here. So we've also got suggested categories. If I want to narrow in specifically on collections or the men's category, I can do that, as well as completed query suggestions for what I may be searching for. But in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and we'll go to the results screen. So as you can see here, we've got a full list of results loaded up, and they continue to refresh as I scroll. I can filter down specifically by some category. In this case, let's just check out yoga shorts. And I can even continue to refine my query. Maybe something like men's shorts, leaving me with only the most relevant results. So this is a quick look at Storefront, but I'm sure a lot of you are interested in admin, so we can go check out the back office. Here in Magento Admin, I can go to Marketing, click on Search, and I load into a new admin that is going to allow me to configure and set up our new site search. So here we've got my faceting configuration, and up top, I've got facets which are always displayed. This means that regardless of query, they'll appear in that exact order. And then facets which are dynamically displayed, in this case, activity and manufacturer. Because these are dynamically displayed, they'll only be shown for relevant queries. And when they are deemed relevant, they'll be ordered based on the products returned. So if more products had activity attribute than manufacturer attribute, activity would be shown much higher. I can go and configure synonyms as well. So here we see the more traditional type of synonyms on this first row, the two-way watch synonym group. This means that watch is treated as totally equivalent to wristwatch or timepiece or tok-tok, and that a search for any of these terms will be treated the same. But we also have a different type of synonym. We have what's called a one-way synonym. This last row shows that yoga would be expanded to cardio ball and exercise ball, but not the other way around. This allows me to build some hierarchical relationships with my query expansion, meaning that if I search for cardio ball, I would not return results for yoga. This can be especially useful in situations where you want to return specific products. For instance, if a shopper is searching for iPad, you wouldn't want to show them the more generic tablet. So this can allow you to build some hierarchy into how you structure your search. Additionally, to help developers build Storefront, we have a GraphQL playground. This allows you to very, very quickly get an idea of what the schema looks like to help you develop for Storefront, as well as test responses, test requests, and get to grips with how you might want to build out your Storefront. And so this has been a real quick overview of advanced site search. And with that, I'm going to hand it off now to Sandra.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm just gonna share my screen and I'm gonna turn off my video so you can see. Oh, no. Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Sandra Gonzalez and I work as a product manager for Magento. Today I'm gonna talk about total cost of ownership, which is for sure not the sexiest feature I could talk about, but it is for sure one of the most important topics to talk if you want to have a wealthy online store. I just have 10 minutes to talk about this, and I would really like to get your feedback, knowledge, and experience to use this time also for us to learn from you. So I will be asking some questions. Please share your answers on the chat and feel free to share other ideas also. One of the main challenges that we have identified when managing a Magento store is the upgrade process. So unfortunately, we know it is expensive and unpredictable. It is difficult to know in advance how much time will be required to complete an upgrade. For you to understand the complexity of an upgrade, you need to review code changes and release notes manually, which can take 2 weeks or more. So the only support that you have to know what changes were done is the release notes, which is incredibly time-consuming and inefficient. So tell me, I would like to know, how long does it take you to complete an upgrade? So from our research, we can say that on average, it can take 4 to 6 weeks. It takes more than a month to complete an upgrade. So with 4 releases a year, this means at least 4 development months spent on upgrading to the latest Magento version. So if you want to be up to date, that's a lot of time. All this makes planning and budgeting inefficient and results in delaying merchants' roadmap and strategy. This finally results in having partners to be consistently in convincing mode with merchants to demonstrate the value of upgrades. So these are like the main pain points, but please feel free to share on the chat which other main pain points you normally face. So something that you're very familiar with is the high-level overview, the high-level steps that you have to follow when you want to complete an upgrade. So it normally starts with identifying which issues you will have to fix. As I described it before, basically consists on looking at the code, introduce what are the new changes that we have introduced, the impact, the release notes, and this can take around 2 weeks. With this information, you can then estimate how long it will take to complete the upgrade, which is then translated to a quote to get the merchant's approval. And once the quote is approved, then you have to proceed with the code fixes, testing, and finally, about 10 weeks later, you can probably go to production with the latest version. So we want to try to simplify and improve this process to make it much faster and easier for you. Our first initiative, to help you with all these steps, is the Safe Upgrade tool, which is a standalone tool that will compare the current merchant's customized code against the newer Magento version, giving us a result, a list of issues that will need to be fixed to complete the upgrade, and a complexity score that will allow partners to quickly understand how complex the upgrade will be. This score will be used to provide high-level estimations of an upgrade. We expect the complexity score to be used as a starting point for upgrade conversations between partners and merchants. And this will simplify and speed up the approval process by having pre-approves for those upgrades under a certain threshold. Thanks to the feedback that were provided by some partners and merchants, we are also contemplating to have the possibility to incorporate this tool during your development process. So the goal is of this use case is to evaluate the quality of the code that is produced with an extra layer that will tell you if the code will generate issues on future upgrades by validating Magento best practices. With this, we expect to reduce the number of issues to be fixed on the next upgrade, resulting in an easier and cheaper upgrade, and finally, minimizing the upgrade cost. That is our main goal. As our goal is to delight our customers and to make sure we can do it, we have defined an iterative process to involve partners and merchants to gather feedback about the work that we're producing. So we completed at the moment the first set of early demos this month. We will continue with a proof of concept that will consist on allowing partners to run and test the Safe Upgrade tool directly with their Magento instances. And their input will help us to define and prioritize the scope for beta and the general availability, the final version that we're planning to launch early next year. So at the end of 2020, we're planning to launch beta versions that will be open and available for all commerce merchants. As part of the scope for this tool, for this phase, we will include an intelligent tracking mechanism for us to be able to gather data that will allow us to understand how many downloads and executions the tool has, what is the maximum, minimum, and average running time of the tool, together with the complexity score, which will help us to set a guidance on the complexity of an upgrade, defining the average or standard score for a Magento upgrade. And for Q1 2021, our goal is to finally release the first version of the tool prior to 2.4.2. Our first alpha version, the scope that we are including, it's focused on the analysis of Magento PHP APIs, and it will produce a report that will include a list. This image is basically just a screenshot of what we have at the moment. So we have a list of issues identified and a short summary that includes the installed version of the store that is being analyzed, the Magento version that is being compared with, execution time that took the tool to be executed, and the number of modules and files checked. Also, the total number of errors and warnings that were identified. And finally, the complexity score that is calculated based on the issues identified by the tool. So having said this, if you want to collaborate with the Magento and the Safe Upgrade tool, just send me an email. I will be very happy to have more people helping us with this project. And then I'm going to just quickly run through our second initiative that we're targeting to help us to reduce the total cost of ownership. And this is the security-only line. So we know that security represents maybe the most important e-commerce features today. So the average cost of a data breach is $3.86 million, and 82% of stores that had malware were running an unsupported version of the product. So with this in mind, and knowing that you care about security more over everything, we are working to make quarterly security improvements easier to implement, to keep your store and your customers safe. This will significantly reduce your regular upgrade cost, increasing your capacity to work on roadmap items. This new release approach splits quality and security improvements, making the upgrade process more flexible for you to decide to upgrade to the latest security patch and select only those quality fixes that you care about. How will this work? So with this policy and moving forward upon release of a new minor version like 2.4, the previous line, 2.3 in this case, will move to security only. Major quality issues that break core flows will be delivered through Magento quality patches, MQPs. Lower impactful quality issues will be addressed in the latest line. Our recommendation and best practice is to limit the use of MQPs on the previous line to ensure an easier migration to the latest one. Magento 2.3.6, which will be released next month, October 2020, will be the last quality plus security line. After 2.3.6, 2.3 line will become security only, and critical quality fixes will be available via MQP. This change is meant to simplify the process to upgrade your store with the latest security improvements, but we want to reinforce our recommendation to follow Magento best practices. So you should still prioritize planning to adopt the latest Magento line in a timely fashion. The new security-only line and MQP tool are not intended to supplant your strategic upgrade roadmap. And having said that, I'm going to leave you now with Misha, that he's going to introduce us to visual recommendation.
Hey everyone, my name is Misha Kotov. I'm a product manager at Magento Commerce. Happy to have you guys join us today. Thank you for spending a little bit of time hanging out with us and learning a bit about what Magento is doing. So let me talk to you about visual recommendations. Before I dive into the core of this presentation, I want to give you an update of where we stand since we released this feature back in April. So it's been about 5.5 months. Well, back up. The feature allows the merchants to create, manage, and deploy native to Magento and AI-powered product recommendations to key locations across the storefront. Again, we launched the feature back in mid-April. It's been 5.5 months. We have over 45 global sites using recommendations in production, and a lot more kind of on the way. Data collection, as you guys recall, is a requirement to have recommendations work. It provides the required input data. So this is basically a stepping stone to fully deploying product recommendations. And we have a few proof points from our merchants that are using it in production. Like Matt has already mentioned, we've seen 25% increase in average order value in one merchant, 15% increase in click-through rates on product detail pages on another merchant. One merchant reported 15x, so this is not 15%, this is 15 times the recommendations-driven revenue over a previous recommendations solution. So quite an impressive feat there. And we've got one merchant clocking in around $60,000. This is a US-based merchant, so US dollars, and recommendations-driven revenue. So all a testament to kind of our world-class recommendation algorithms powered by Adobe Sensei. So a bit about where we're going next is in 2021, we want to deliver more types and more types of AI and improved AI that we are utilizing already. So for one, visual recommendations are going to be out. This is where we use visual AI to retrieve products that are similarly looking visually to something that is already displayed on the page. We're looking to add personalization algorithms and new recommendation types as well to what is already available. And a couple other kind of secondary things. You all should know that we've released already our integration with Page Builder, which is where you can drag and drop recommendation units on a page or any content, really, that you can author and edit in Page Builder, including dynamic blocks, which is a piece that unlocks segmentation. In addition to that, we're looking to add inclusion-exclusion filters. So this is a more flexible way to control what should show up in recommendations or what should not end up in recommendations, and build rules driven off of things like categories, price, and other product attributes. And then we are working on a catalog ingestion dashboard. So catalog data is the second required type of data for recommendations to work, and we're just bringing more awareness to that process. And some of our big milestones that we're shooting for is to expand B2B support, to build out PWA support. Those of you who are working on PWA, that should be coming relatively soon. And the third big one for us that we've heard a lot is use of recommendations for inclusion into email templates and newsletter templates. So we want to build out support for that as well. Now, onto the actual visual recommendation. So this is a new type, completely new type of AI that we've added to our arsenal. It finds most visually similar products to what is currently being viewed by the shopper. You can think of the shopper browsing a PDP. They're looking at a product, so this type of recommendations would bring back other items with similar visual characteristics. This will be an optional add-on to existing product recommendations feature, and this was developed in collaboration with the Adobe Sensei research team, based on largely the same technology as used in Adobe stock currently. And then a couple things about how it works high level. So what it does is it ingests first product images. It tries to understand them and generate these embeddings that are then indexed and analyzed. And then at query time, when the page loads, and an image of the current product is submitted to the service, and then the service responds with, here's visually similar products that you have in your catalog. So jumping on over to a demo. First thing that I wanted to show you guys is that we have documentation on this feature already, and this is part of developer documentation that talks about installing product recommendations. This is live today. Next section talks about the optional page builder module, and then the next section that follows talks about the optional visual similarity recommendations module. And if you click through, it'll tell you, it'll take you to some content that's currently on our docs beta site. You may not be able to Google for this, but you can click through from there. So the reason why this particular functionality is optional and not built in out of the box is that it doesn't make sense for 100% of Magento merchants, because it kind of depends on the vertical or industry in which the merchant operates. So if you think about somebody selling electronic components may not find much use in the feature, but somebody who is in fashion or apparel industry, this may be very beneficial, or something like home goods and furnishings, or really any vertical where the customers will make purchase decisions based on these visual characteristics of these products. So you can see what the types of kind of factors or aspects that it takes into account, things like color, shape, size, even aspects of style or material or texture. Sometimes it's able to pick up on. So let me jump over to my cloud instance, and I'll show you what it looks like. If I'm on my dashboard, I can navigate to product recommendations in the marketing menu, and I'll see my currently existing recommendations that I have deployed on my site. When I install the module, remember the module is optional, I need to come back to the settings and actually toggle on the visual recommendations option. Once I've done that, I can start creating recommendations just like any other time that I have previously. And if I select to deploy a recommendation unit to the product detail page, now I have the option of creating a recommendation unit based on visual similarity. The rest of the form is basically the same. This is just an additional recommendation type unlocked for the product detail page. So if I have a unit created, as you can tell from my dashboard, I already have one deployed to product detail pages of type visual similarity. And I've already gathered some statistics in terms of impressions, views, clicks, and even driven revenue that this unit has generated. I'll show you what it looks like over on the storefront. So if I'm in a product category, I can click on, say, a watch. And if I'm a shopper, I obviously like the look and feel of this watch. And the recommendation down below will show me similar looking watches in my catalog. So one thing to note here is that a prominent detail that the first two items have in common with the query product is this crane plating around the face of the watch. You can see that the first two items brought back kind of have a similar level of detail here, and then some others that follow. So to demonstrate this on another type of product, I'll navigate to my tanks category, and I'll open this product that has this little accent pocket on the tank. If I scroll down, you can see, for the most part, we have other tank tops returned, and the first item that's returned has this very similar looking accented pocket. And if I click on this, similarly, I think the other one gets returned in the top position, but the other recommendation results are actually a little bit different. They're not exactly the same products because of the fact that this is not exactly the same query image, right? This is a different color, potentially different position on the model, so it warrants different results. So like I've said before, this visual recommendations feature is currently in beta. We're looking to work closely with merchants to test out the quality of the ranker and the retrieval algorithm. If you are a merchant that will find value in this, or you are a solution integrator that works with a merchant for whom this will be valuable, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to work together and collaborate to make sure that what we develop here is high quality, just like the rest of the product. I'll post a link in the chat to the documentation that I've shown here in this presentation. That way you have a place to find this information, and then you can get in touch with me directly on various channels, Slack, Twitter, email. My name is Misha Kotov. And with that, I will leave it to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Misha. Hi, my name is Dave Uselton, and I'm a senior solution consultant in the Magento organization. And today we're going to talk about a new AEM Assets connector for Magento that was delivered by our partner Bounteous, leveraging the APIs between Magento and AEM Assets. Adobe recently did a study and asked the question, do you find it hard to personalize at scale? And as you can see from the results here, almost across the board, most people tended to agree with the fact that achieving personalization at scale is difficult. And this has long been a challenge for the marketer. And this is why Adobe has had the concept of content supply chain for quite some time. And it's really fundamental to the entire Experience Cloud. So if we look at the Experience Cloud, it's about bringing together the combination of Creative Cloud, anonymous users, and known user information in order to tailor the experience and deliver the right assets to the right people in the right touch points. And this has been known as content supply chain. And the goal of this connector is to determine a way to help bring that same concept of content supply chain and very, very hyper-personalized experiences to the Magento authoring environment. Now, phase one of this connector is going to be the connector for Magento products. And this is going to create a link between authoring product information in a traditional Magento Luma style environment and having that information be available in the asset DAM system of AEM, and link all the way back to Creative Cloud, where people tend to work with the product images to make important changes and combinations and composites and so forth. And the goal of this is to improve in customer engagement by delivering an Adobe-style content supply chain to Magento products, be that being created from images from camera shoots, they could be coming from 3D images, however we're actually getting the product information into the system. And then boost the ROI and experience authoring by reducing the time that you spend creating and managing the digital assets that you want to put into your Magento systems for products. And then lastly, deliver better velocity to help unique product experiences. So to be able to deliver that rich experience for things like groups in products that have multiple shots and putting new backgrounds behind them and so forth. All part of phase 1 of this connector. Now this is all being delivered by the native APIs that exist in both Magento and Adobe, and it's being released into our marketplace as something that was delivered by one of our most valued partners, Bounteous. And it's going to allow this seamless enableization between Magento and Adobe. And it's going to allow you to actually migrate Magento images into the AEM Assets DAM for things like dynamic media delivery. Now, you can also still leave the images inside of your traditional Magento cloud hosting environment to be served out through that system as well. So the option really is there to work either way, depending upon your needs. It also adds an AEM Assets image in the Magento product back office and an AEM Assets selector right inside of the admin that allows you to go get a view from inside the DAM and pull those images back for use against Magento products. It will also allow you to update the product image directly from inside of AEM without actually ever touching it inside of Magento. So as you create new renditions and so forth, those can automatically update themselves inside of Magento. And it allows you to leverage all of the rest of the enterprise asset management features and workflows from right inside of Magento. Things like renditions and sending information down to creators for adjustments. All of those wonderful enterprise asset management features by one of the leading DAMs in the industry will now be available to Magento experience authors. And like many of the technology pieces that are available in the Magento marketplace, there's also the ability to extend this code. And in this case, there's the ability to also extend it with all the capabilities that exist inside of Adobe Experience Manager assets, including robust pre-integrated points for ERPs, CRM systems, MRM systems, WCM systems, all available through a very open API ecosystem in Adobe's Exchange, which is very much like the Magento marketplace. So a lot of ability to continue to build on top of this jumpstart that the asset connector gives you. So let's take a look at it live in a production environment. And in this case, a reminder that we're stringing together Magento, AEM Assets, Creative Cloud, and Creative Cloud being linked to assets via something called the Creative Cloud Asset Link. And in this case, we're going to look at a first use case of a new variation product starting from a raw image. So we see we have a hole and we'd like to create a new push-up messenger bag using different color variations. This is what our creative wants. But all we have is this very rough image from the photography team. So let's go to work. We'll go into our Magento back office and we'll go find our empty product. Now, typically you'd be doing this inside of the staging and preview dashboard system of Magento. And then let's dive into the details. And first, we're going to create our variation configurations, and then we're going to upload our raw image file into Magento. Great. Now we have an image. Let's save our work inside of Magento and let the connector start to do its job. So let's go to our action menu. Let's pick our simple product with our raw image and send that asset to the AEM DAM. Now we browse inside of the AEM DAM and we see our new image has landed and it's tagged itself with the name of the product as well as some other metadata that was important to the information. And then kicked off a workflow so that our creative could go in and find that asset inside of Adobe Photoshop and check that image out to start making some repairs and making it look more like the standardized images inside of the actual commerce experience. So first we crop away some of the ugliness and then we go in and touch the image up. Let's get rid of some of the gray areas that have still residual effects of the imagery itself. Switch them back to our foreground color so everything is nice and white and clean, very similar to the rest of our products. And then we can go check our image back in. And this check-in, check-out process makes sure that no one uses the image while you're manipulating it. And of course, you can add notes every step of the way, which are recorded in the Adobe Asset Manager DAM system. Of course, now we needed 4 different images, so we're also going to go in and make some color changes to match our different variations for our product and save those as images as well back to the DAM. And now we can fast forward and see our work back inside of the Asset Manager DAM and take a look at one of the individual pictures and see that it's updated the versions for version controlling, and you even have a viewer to see what's been changed between different versions. Now this will kick off a workflow that notifies the merchandiser in the Magento system that their new imagery is ready. But now we have 4 images where there used to be 1. So the system puts back the 4 images that it originally had to the simples, and now the merchandiser will go in and use the DAM Assets browser window to either browse or search into the asset system from right inside of the Magento admin back office and pick the right images for the right products. Now also imagine a world where there might be 4 or 5 or 6 different images for a product. This is going to really cut down the time, and of course you as developers have all the ability to go in and tune these processes as well by taking the additional APIs and making whatever changes you would like to make. Typically things like metadata schemas and so forth to help bring the pictures and the images into a more rational format inside of the DAM as the number of images inside of your DAM or other assets such as video and so forth are added. And now we see our completed product. It's ready for the Magento staging and preview dashboard to release it into production. And that's the new asset connector, adding more value to your Magento authoring environments and helping you deliver a high velocity content supply chain in the Magento environment.
We're really, really excited about the AEM Assets integration. Creative Suite has some phenomenal tools. Really excited about being able to bring those into the Magento solution through that integration. So anyway, Dave, thank you for that and for the entire team. Hopefully you saw a lot of really, really exciting things coming up on the roadmap. And again, that was really just some of the highlights that did not touch on all of the things that we're doing across the board, including, again, expansion of GraphQL and PWA and the integration with AEM sites, with cloud, with overall performance and reliability and things. So it really is going to be another exciting next few quarters for Magento and for Magento merchants and partners. Hopefully everyone else is equally excited about what's coming up. That's not all the sessions for the product team. I know in some of the later sessions this afternoon, we're going to be sharing some more on the security roadmap, also what's going on with PWA and in other areas as well. So hopefully you're planning on staying with us throughout the day and catching some of these various other sessions.